Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
We got the core support welded on. We got the front end basically welded to the firewall. We got the lower or the inner cowling welded to the sides, this, that, and the other. We're really moving along pretty good here, I guess you could say, for welding. But it's taken a long time, and the reason that it's taking a long time is because there is a lot of fucking welding on this car that needs to be done. So what we did is we went ahead and mounted the A-pillar onto the vehicle, but then we found out that we had to take it off because we had a situation up in this area here. So now it's time to go ahead and mount this piece of shit back onto the fucking car, and hopefully we're going to mount it permanently. So we'll slide this up inside. Remember, we made that little lip right here. We made that little extension there. We're going to slide it up into the vehicle, and we're going to line up our lines just like we had them. Remember, I used a marker. I used a marker and outlined everything, and then of course I used my marker and put circles around the screw holes where it would screw onto. So now we can go ahead and mount this into the vehicle just like it's supposed to be, and go from there. And there's one more thing that I really want to stress to you about doing this. And it's very important that you take your time welding this shit together. When you get one little section welded, go back, take a breather, and then come back to it, because if you just continuously weld everything together, the heat from the welder is going to start warping the body and twisting it. Believe it or not, I'm telling you facts here, okay? So when you're welding something as extreme as what you're seeing my friend Pete do, take your fucking time, because if you don't, and you get everything put together and it doesn't line up, you're the one that's gonna fucking pay for it. Alright, we got the A-pillar / fuck off hinge post installed in the car. It's precisely, exactly right back where I took it off. Now what we'll do, before we do anything else, we cannot put the top piece in yet, which would be this section right here. We can't slide that in there yet, due to the fact that we still have to weld this piece inside there. And if you're looking what I'm looking at, you can see that this is a real fucking mess right in here. This is a real fucking nightmare of a jigsaw puzzle that we're working with. So it's really, really important to make sure that you're on your fucking toes and you're paying attention to what the fuck you're doing, because if you don't, that's what's going to happen. Right there in your fucking ass, and it's all your fucking fault because you weren't paying attention. So we'll go ahead and bend this lip back as far as we can get it without distorting it, because we got to get in here to weld this back on. This has got to be welded on to this, and then we can slide our piece into the car, this piece right here. Taking our cutoff wheel and using it as a grinder, we'll go ahead and smooth those welds out. And now we know that that is welded inside there for a nice solid structural fit. Before we go any further with our piece, what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and slide this piece under the cowling, and then we will go ahead and pop it in place where it goes, and hopefully everything will fit together. Now keep in mind, remember, I have some spot welds and also screws holding this down. We don't want to move that in any way, so we're going to try to go ahead and just pry it up easily, and hopefully this will all fit in there like it's supposed to, and we'll get down the road with the situation at hand. Just like that. And now you know what I'm talking about when I say layers. Layers are there. Layers are always going to be there for you to fuck with, and there is nothing you can do about the fucking layer, because that is what you call layers. Jigsaw puzzle layers. We do have a situation right here. If you look right here, I don't know if you can see that in the picture, there's actually a line that I drew where this actually goes up against that, so we're going to have to pound that back in place, and we want that to be, there it is right there. We didn't have to pound nothing, and that lined up just like we want it to be. Now before we weld this thing together, I want to show you a few items here. This would be factory original OEM style items that I'm going to show you, and this is something that we use to line our parts up and to make sure that everything is lined up perfect. If you look at that spot right there, you can see that that has been drilled out. That is a factory original spot weld. So by lining those back up properly, just like they were from the factory, I know for a fact, and this is another one I just happened to drill all the way through on it, but I know for a fact that these little spots here, that means that that thing is precisely in place where it goes. We even precisely lined it up right here on the outside where our bolt plate would be showing through. This is where our hinge bolts do, and you can see that even these holes line up properly with no situations or fuck-ups whatsoever. Now I do notice that we got an extremely large gap right here, but that's okay. What we'll do is once we get this welded on, we'll take our body hammer and then we will hammer and dolly this in to weld that together, and then fill that with weld and be down the road and almost hopefully have it done. Now, since this is such an extreme situation, and I was telling you about the body twisting and bending as you're welding it from the heat structure, what we're going to do before we weld this in place, because this post right here is very, very important. This is a crucial fucking situation we got going here, because this actually lines the fender gap up and also lines the door up in the door opening. So this is a very precise deal. If you've been following the videos, then you know what kind of fucking problems I've been having with this fucking door situation. Before we go any further and weld that on, I want to go ahead and make sure that the car's still balanced, and then I'm going to take some degree readings back and forth and then do my measurements to make sure that everything is precise and lined up the way that I want it to be before we weld that on. So I'm going to lay my level across here, and I see that that is level right on the fucking money, so we're still good right there. And then I'm going to take my angle finder and I'm going to go ahead and set that on the 0 mark, and I'm going to find my angle that I need. And I see that that's reading 3 degrees off of 0. So what we'll do is we'll go back over on the other side and make sure that that has the same degree angle fucking situation that we got on this side. And then we're going to go ahead and find 0, and we see that is right on the money as well. So I think everything is right back to where we want it. It's precisely measured out, it's precisely set in. I got my cutoff wheel mark here, and then we had one across here that looks perfect. All our fucking factory spot welds line up, and everything lines up just like it was when we took it apart. Let's go ahead and get this bitch welded up and get down the fucking road. how's it going out there? This is Pete again. We're finishing up welding our cowl panels together. We got all of the hinge posts welded on, except for our little section there. We got to work on that, our windshield post area. We got the core support welded on. We got half of the fucking front apron section welded on. We got our side panels welded back together. And we're not even fucking half done yet. So what I'm doing now is finishing up the welding of our cowl panel. And I'm using a plier. Let's look at that plier right there. Let's see what we got. What we're using here, this is called a spot weld plier. Now when I say spot weld, if you look real close as it clamps shut, it's got a little U section in it, and then of course the backing plate here is made of copper. So wherever you're going to put a spot weld and you feel uncomfortable that it's going to weld through and fuck up on you, take these babies right there, clamp it on there just like that, bam, and weld it together. So it's a meticulous job, but you know what, we're going to fucking get this bitch done and down the fucking road. Welding up in this area right in here is very, very tricky due to the fact, let me go ahead and get this screw out. So I'm using my spot weld pliers to spot weld these in along this edge, but the situation we got is that we have to weld these two edges together, and there's got to be a lot of spot welds because the cowl panel on this fucking Mustang is one of the main structures that hold the fucking car together. We've put approximately, I would say, 100 spot welds in, and we're not even done yet. So I got from here all the way over to here to finish, and then I'm going to go back and double check and make sure that everything's welded up tight. Now as I'm welding these, I'm trying to weld them where it melts the metal together and the spot weld that I'm putting on there lays as flat as possible. The reason for that is that's going to give me less grinding time and I won't have to dick around. We also have these little nipples right here. You can't see them from there, but these are the nipples that are the factory original style for our plastic clips to slide on so our chrome will go on. So we really got to be careful not to fucking ruin those as we're doing this. I got this much more right here. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. More fucking spot welds to go. Alright, I think we are done. Here's a couple spots I want to go ahead and fill in. We got a situation right here where it burned through, so I'm going to take my pliers. That way I can fill that in with weld. And I think here's a couple more right here. And I want to show you what I'm doing now. Now that I got it all welded, I want to show you. I'm going to go back one more time and I'm going to double check, but I want to show you what I'm looking for. If you look at that spot weld right there, that's what we're trying to accomplish. A nice, clean, flush mount spot weld with minimal grinding. Now, most of them are like that, and they're really coming out really nice and clean, but if you look right here at this one, you can see the edge right there showing where I missed the weld. So what I'm looking for imperfections like that because I want that to be all the way around. I don't want to have a little hole right there that's going to collect moisture, rust, and rot later down the line. So I'm going to take my welder and then I'll fill that in. And then if you look right here, here's another section right there. You can see where the weld didn't fill all the way in. So I'll go ahead and take these pliers, clamp it on this lip right here, and then that way I can fill that in without melting the lip down. And then here's another one right here. You can see that little pinhole right there. I don't want that. I'll take my welder and I'll go ahead and just spot it real quickly, and that'll fill that in. And that's what you call meticulous, immaculate fucking work. Once again, you got to take pride in what you do and go that extra fucking mile to get her done and do it right. Let me get that done, and then we're gonna do an overall review of what the fuck we've been welding all day long. I think that's it. Here's one right here. I think that's it. And there you go. Just like that. Okay. Alright, everything's looking good. And I think we're done for the day. All right, let's look at what we've been working on all day and see if the hours add up to the labor. And when I say labor, I'm talking intensive fucking labor of love that we might call welding a Rustang, Mustang, fucking Frankenstein together. So we got all the side panels together. We got the upper part of the inner fender aprons welded onto the firewall. We also got our core support. You can see right there the core support's welded on, and that's a done fucking deal for us right there. And we went ahead and cleaned the outside of that, so when we refinish it, you won't even know that that was welded on. And then one more thing that I did to beef up the situation is I also went ahead and added some spot welds with some stitch welding. So I put 3 stitch weldeds on that to make sure that that's nice, tight, and secure. We got the core support welded up in this area here. It's nice and secure and firm. And then the situation we had on the core support is actually welding upside down. Welding upside down can be a trick, but it's something that takes a lot of fucking practice and a lot of more practice to get it perfect. So if you're gonna weld upside down, take your time, make sure your welder's set the proper way, and you too can become an upside down fuck off welder. So after we got the core support on, we went ahead and set our hinge post in place precisely exactly where we had it so the door will hang perfect, and we went ahead and welded all that fucking mess together. Now we still got to clean all these welds up. These are heavy duty spot welds going on here, and I want to show you, these are actually, if you look at all the spot welds going down, that's actually where the factory spot welds were on the vehicle. So they put a lot of fucking spot welds on these cars when they built them. And that in itself was one big fucking job. We still got to finish this area up right in here. I got to make some filler panels and weld those in that section there. And then also right in this area here, I got to make a filler panel out of some 18 gauge steel and fill all that in. And then as we get to the top of the car, we went ahead and welded our cowl paneling together. The inner and outer cowl paneling are installed permanently now, and the next step that we got to do is get our grinder out and start grinding first thing in the morning. The welding's going good, everything's looking good, it's a strong, secure car. I think the owner's gonna be happy with this fucking car. I'm gonna be happy with the work that I've did to it. And we're still not done. We're not done welding yet. If you look down inside that inner apron right there, you can see that we don't even have the bottom of this frame section welded to the firewall yet. Why don't we have that welded to the firewall? We don't have that welded, and the reason why is because we don't even have any of the floor welded in yet. And until we get this section right in here welded on, well, there is no way that I am going to weld the inner aprons of the floor to the firewall. But then we can't even stop there, because after we get all that done, comes the real job of installing our torque boxes. So we still got a lot of fucking work to do to this car, and we are not done yet. But I gotta say, it's looking good and it's looking better. And we're working as fast as we can to get it done. I have approximately a month and a half working this already. And that's off and on. That's not every single day continuously. So for the work that I'm doing to this and the time that I'm taking on it, I think that it's gonna make a really, really nice car once we're done with it. So I guess I'm gonna lock it down and go home. I'm fucking worn out and I'm tired, and you wouldn't think that sitting around and welding would wear you out, but you know, grinding and welding, it's a back-breaking, meticulous, mind-boggling fucking job, and it wears you out just like anything else. One-man operation, one-man fucking guy, me, myself, and I, and maybe I would say I've had help on this 3 times, and that's only to hold something. So I'm basically doing all this shit by myself. If you don't think you can do this by yourself, shut my fucking channel off. Don't ever watch me again, because you're wasting your fucking time. I am not here to waste my fucking time. I can be welding this Mustang, then talking to you, the fucking lame brain that ain't paying attention. Maybe you're not building a fuck-off car. Maybe you don't have any intention of building a fucking car. But there's something somewhere in your life that you have intentions to do. And the only way it's gonna get done is you get off that fat fucking lazy ass of yours, like I do every fucking day, and do something. That's all I can tell you. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, showing you how to do it and telling you that you ain't never gonna do it if you don't want to fucking do it. Because if you really want to do it, then you would fucking do it. Take it easy. Why people can't get off their fucking ass and do something. It's fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing that it's just a fucking situation. Many lazy motherfucking people in the world that don't want to fucking do nothing. Just don't fucking understand. It's a fucking joke. Lazy fucking people. Alright, what we're doing is we're cleaning all the fucking welds up on our cowling. That was a real fucking bitch putting that thing on. And let me tell you something. You do not want to fuck with that. So if we look in this area right here, right where my hands are, you can see that the front left apron is loose from the cowling. Now there's a piece that goes right here, and when I took the old cowling off, I went ahead and saved those pieces right there to try to save the owner some money, and also use the factory original piece back in place so we can at least try to line something up as we are doing this fucking job. And the piece that I'm talking about is this piece right here. This is the piece that ties our apron into our cowling. It's very important to have this piece. This is a section that is a structure section, and it requires that you weld that back on. So when I removed this, or should I say we, that's when fuck off ass wipe was here, fuck off guy. He went ahead and you can see where there was rust already present on this, but we've already killed the rust is gone, and then we'll weld that up and clean it up, so we're not worried about that. But it was bent and tortured, so I took my body hammer, I bent it back in shape, and now we can go ahead and weld this back on here. Now I want you to pay close attention to this hole right here. Alright, this is where our fender would bolt on. You can see there's several of them. Well, this is the same situation. A little clip goes in here, a nut clip, a clip nut, whatever you want to call it, and then the final bolt in the back of the fender would bolt right there. So this is very important to have this. So we're going to go ahead and use the used one and weld it back onto the car, and hopefully everything will work out. So we'll take our C-clamp just like this, and we are going to go ahead and clamp this together. And when you start getting into this mess right here, this is where the headaches start to get on you, because you went ahead and saved this stuff to reuse. And if you don't pay attention, or like I said, take pictures as you're tearing your car apart, you'll never know where all this shit goes back. So it's real important to remember where this stuff goes back when you're going to reuse it. Now that we got our piece installed, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and cut this rusted edge off, and then I'll go ahead and add a piece of steel to it to compensate for the gap that we have. We'll go ahead and use our floor pan assembly right here for our section that we need. And if you've been watching my video sets, you know what I'm talking about. This is actually a floor pan that the owner purchased, and we're not using it, so I'm going to go ahead and use it on this. And then I'll just kind of trace it out right here where it's going to go. Go ahead and cut this out. Clean the edges off. And then we should be able to go ahead and weld this in. We've got a little situation right here. This is a little bit bent. We're going to pry it up, get it to where we want it. We'll tap the bottom of this up. And now we can go ahead and fit this on here, just like so. I want to clean this edge right here. I see some seam sealer. Put that in there just like that. And now we can go ahead and weld that onto our panel. We'll now proceed to take our electric grinder, clean those welds up, followed by our little Roll-A-Lock 36 grit pad, and then this will be finished. This side is ready for seam sealer. I'm going to go over and repeat my process on the other side, and I believe our cowling on our Mustang is done. We'll be back.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know